Bob asked me to speak to finding opportunities and partners, leveraging resources, and measuring outcomes. And I'm going to use the example of the grant that we wrote for the pilot to go through that process. And we will address the MOUs and how do you assess community needs when there isn't an organized group within the area. When we heard about this grant, I'm going to talk about the process, and this is before we wrote the grant. The process that we chose to look at is that we understood that we needed to have alignment and momentum in our club. And the alignment was with the district guidelines, with your club services priorities, with your members' passion. If you want Rotarian involvement, you need to communicate, but you also need Rotarians who really care about it and who are willing to show up and be counted in the program. And this will ensure our project support and the hands-on. And I'm going to say right here with the alignment, we were in good stead. I mean, our club really was interested in youth programs. They're very concerned about high-risk kids in our area. So we had a good alignment with the basic description right off. But we went through the process of looking at the district guidelines, and we identified potential programs within our service area, and we looked in regionally, were there some opportunities that might cross. We're very close to like Tacoma 8, you know, Parkland, Spanaway. So we went through the process and made sure that we met the criteria for the grant. When we started looking at our own service orientation, there was a discussion with the board, is this something we want to pursue and evaluate? We went to our community concerns committee, asked them if there were projects or areas of need that they saw or opportunities that they saw. And from multiple sources within the club, the Springbrook, and we'll go over what the Springbrook project, it came up. And so we needed to look at whether this project was really wanted by the community, if it was something that was responsive to that needs. Springbrook is an area that is outside of Joint Base Lewis-McChord in this pocket separated from the rest of the city of Lakewood by I-5. Until this year, there were no sidewalks. Their bus service stops at 7 o'clock at night. The school is on the other side of I-5. There are no public buildings in Springbrook. And we'll go through a few of the demographics, but there really wasn't a place. We couldn't even go to the school and work with like a PTA that would be restricted to that area. So in understanding community needs, we had to look at a different way. The city of Lakewood had recently done a strategic planning process, and they contracted to have a consultant go in and area by area, community by community. They did a series of interviews which responded really well to what we needed, because they asked the residents, what is the most important, what are your priorities? And those priorities that were identified by Springbrook closely aligned with what our grant project was. Opportunities for kids, learning opportunities for kids, access to nutrition. Crime is very, very high in that area. The only public space is a public park. The city has invested a fair amount of money in that. There is a covered area now. They have done a great deal of work on sidewalks this year, but we had to look at multiple sources. There was another coalition called Lakewood's Choice, which is a youth organization that is really interested in substance prevention, but they also had done a community survey that was done in 2016. We went to Springbrook Connects, which was another it is special interest group, and their purpose is to work to make sure that the park stays a family-friendly place, because they've had so many issues with drug issues and other issues that the community has come together and they take an active interest in the park. They have brought in community gardens that started with 4 beds. We are now at 84 beds. So by looking at all these different pieces, we felt we could ascertain that it was responsive because of the surveys, and then we went and talked to some of the people that were involved in Community Choice, Springbrook Connects, and the school district. So that was how we approached it, and one of our participating partners who helped sign the MOU was from Lakewood's Choice, who has taken an active part in the summer program and committed to doing certain things. For instance, his group, when we start our summer camp, and I know I'm not talking about the details of the grant, but more that they would go door to door in the Springbrook area and help promote the program. That there were specific things that they committed to do to help us. So that before we wrote the grant, we were doing this. And I want to describe a bit about what the grant is. It's called the Springbrook Summer Camp, and it is a coalition of 10 partners. And it started shortly after 1999 when a 9-year-old was murdered in Springbrook, and the chief of police, Larry Saunders, who later became a member of our Lakewood Rotary Club, and Diane Formosa, who is responsible for Caring for Kids, which is a nonprofit that provides support to families, low-income families. And we're talking about back-to-school bags. We're talking about bedding. We're talking about clothing. It's a full range. Said, enough is enough. Something has to be done to bring resources into this area. And so informally, this group, this coalition of people came. The library brought in the bookmobile to help provide services. Public health came in and did counseling. It was informal and not coordinated. Over the years, because of the leadership of Larry Saunders, he got community groups to sit down and plan a summer. So this has been really a progression, and now, and we'll go through the partners, it's still a coalition in that St. Leo's Food has agreed that for the summer camp program that happens 3 days a week during the summer for 10 weeks, that they will provide a meal and a nutritious snack for every kid. And in addition, they set up a mobile unit outside the park to provide food to people in the community who need it. Okay? The library continues to come once a week. But there are other partners, such as the YMCA, that will help us with field trips for the kids. So they're not one of the listed partners, but they're going to come and do a program in the park with the kids on Monday and Wednesday, teaching them water safety. Then on Friday, a field trip will take the kids to the pool, and they will get to swim. And for most of the kids that we surveyed, they've never been to the pool. Getting to the pool, which is less than 5 miles away, is almost impossible because of transportation issues. So they get the water safety, they get the instruction, then they get that. And that's provided in kind by the Y. So this is where partnerships and leveraging comes in. The Y had difficulty because of liability insurance, okay? Because we now are all sitting at the same table. We have a representative. The city of Lakewood, who has the park, said, wait a minute, we believe that our insurance carrier can help with that while you're doing this. And so that is how we've been leveraging to increase opportunities for kids. But this gives you an idea, it gives you an idea of the community. I've talked a bit about this. I mean, truly, this is a very isolated area. And 93% of the kids are on free or reduced lunches. The school district has very limited summer school, and summer school does not exist in this area. So they have no learning opportunities that are organized unless they can go out of their community. So it's a pretty unique opportunity for us to bring learning to them. I embedded this in the PowerPoint. It does not work, but I wanted to give you a sense, but if the YouTube address is there, it is really remarkable because it shows how a community with communication can bring together resources, because the police, the fire department, public health, Franciscan health, different groups are there for the block parties, and it is the launch of our summer camp. Yes. I think we're going to go ahead because and Bob helped me with time. So what I just summarized is the process we went through, but I want to talk about this. We were very careful in looking at what our district community grants would pay for, and we needed to select how we would help fund. And the boys and girls are the primary program provider. They provide the youth development program and the structure of the program. So they are one of our primary. The other partner was Lakewood's Choice, which represented the community. And we very clearly negotiated the roles. We talked about how the funding would be distributed, what kinds of receipts, what kind of documentation we would need to have to do that. And we're going to talk a little bit about the outcomes and what we agreed up front that would be reported, and the commitment of the partners to do that so that we could have the stewardship and accountability that we needed to do that. The specific outcomes that we selected is the program serves kids ages 6 to 12, and we wanted 100 unduplicated youth. That is something the Boys and Girls Club will do. Part of, for teens in the Springbrook area, there really are very few employment opportunities. There's no grocery store. There are some fast stops at a gas station. Rose, you can help me. I think there's another little kind of, but there's not places where they can get experience. And we recruit teen volunteers and have them go through a program with Boys and Girls Club. And we have them do volunteer jobs to help build some employment skills and build their resume. So that was part of it. We looked at how many hours of adult engagement per youth. We have up to 4 community events, and the purpose is to engage the parents and the broader community in the program. And so through a series of programs, and that's in the planning, what we will do is we will engage everyone in the community with the summer camp. The Rotarian volunteers, really important. I think that how to do that, and we will have Rotarians helping as crossing guards. We will have them helping at the program activities in delivery of service and working one-on-one with kids. And they will help do mentorships, or mentors on field trips. And I'll give an example. The Fort Steilacoom college president offered Pierce College as one of the field trips, and a visit to the planetarium where the kids will get to go in the planetarium. They will bring in faculty to talk about different things you can do with that kind of educational degree. And then their students will do hands-on fun activities at that field trip. And so we'll have Rotarians there to help with that process. And the point is for a lot of these kids, this is exposure to different kinds of opportunities for them. It's helping them to see a world beyond what they know in their community. So it's really, that was what we were looking for. The libraries had come to the program, and there was some, support. But what we've made it is that 50% of the participants will complete the summer reading program. And we're tracking that. And the Boys and Girls Club will integrate reading every single day of the program into that. And they will have the kids have their record. And together at the end of the summer, the Lions will give every kid who participated in the day camp a free book, as well as the Pierce County Library Foundation. So leveraging your resources. How do you bring together what one person can bring to the table with what someone else can do to create a really cohesive program? And we are going to do a survey of the kids and the parents at the end about the quality of services provided. That is one that's a really hard one to measure. But I would love to say that this would help raise the scores, but there are so many factors, and UW-Tacoma has not taken this on as a research project, but so I thought I'd just give you a couple of pictures of what is proposed. This is from last year's, some of the pictures are from 2016 camp. These are the current core cadre, the Boys and Girls Club. They will provide 2 staff members plus 2 teen volunteers. Communities and schools will provide 3 to 4. And usually there are AmeriCorps students that will help with the program activities. Lakewood First Lions, Lakewood Rotary have been funders. Lakewood's Choice is a community coalition. Springbrook Connection, the garden. The garden is integrated into the program. Kids learn gardening. We teach them how to cook vegetables. So Lakewood YMCA, the library system. So you can see the partners that are already on board. And this is the structure of the camp. You can see the library's Explorer bookmobile that comes. And these are samples of program. It's fun learning opportunities balanced with an opportunity to build skills. And I think that the field trips happen on Friday. These are the former ones. With funding, we will be able to take the kids to places that we're not only getting in kind. So we could take them to the Pacific Science Center, or we could take them to a children's museum. And that opportunity to explore outside their community is really important. The community events, building trust in that community is really important. That was one of our obstacles, is that there was not a lot of trust in having their children come and participate. And through community events, we have the opportunity for parents and kids to meet us, get to know us, and the program increases. and the group and the coalition meets at the city of Lakewood came up that we really wanted these kids to have a summer to remember for good reasons, for the right reasons, and to meet the other youth development opportunities. Did I cover your MOU and sort of that partnership of how you assess community, you know, when there's not one?
My question was about project beneficiaries signing the MOU, and if they don't have you know, an organization, umbrella organization, how do you address that?
We chose Lakewood's choice, and we identified that it represented this part of the community, that it was. And then we provided other documents that through surveys through the city of Lakewood, blah, 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 that the need was verified. What we will do this year is do surveying to determine if that community need was met. Because there really isn't one place that represents that community. Yeah, it's an issue.
Did you say the population of the poor community?
Well, it's 4,300 people approximately. The majority of them are under age 45. It is heavily Hispanic. And what was surprising to me was that it really is not military, even though it's right outside the gates of Joint Base Lewis McChord. It is not military. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I think it's an amazing project you put together. What were the funds used for? Like, how much money did you get, and what were they used for?
We're funding field trips. We're paying for the fuel and the bus, and we are going through the Boys and Girls Club, who contracts and goes through a competitive bid process and does all the background checks to do that. We're doing 4 community events where we can bring in some providers to help really motivate that. We are doing a stipend for the teen volunteers. So the teen volunteers who achieve so many hours of service will actually get a financial reward for it. We are buying $500 in supplies for the program, and we are assisting with the staffing for the Boys and Girls Club, the youth development. And I'm just going to say that without them, this program would not be as successful, because their youth development program is so exceptional and so coordinated. And Judy's standing there, and I think I need to hand over. But please, if there are other questions, come and talk to me.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you want to give me the mic?
No, I want to keep it. Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you. As you can all see, this is a fabulous program, and it fits right into our new summer literacy and nutrition pilot. So I hope that you're able to get some great ideas to help augment your district community grants. The one thing that I do have to mention is that if you do this, this is your community grant for the year, unless we can go to round 2. Now, that's not saying that we don't, because this year we went 3 rounds. So you do have another opportunity, but when you're planning your summer literacy grant for next summer, then you will know that that's your community grant for the year. Now we're going to break for lunch. There is a speaker at lunch, and lunch will be right up until 12:45. So please do try and come back at 12:45. And we do have another sign-in sheet for you, because if you don't attend the afternoon session, you are not qualified. And it's not that we don't trust you, we're just very careful and good stewards of our resources, right? So we're going to lock the doors. So if you want to leave your belongings here, go ahead. we'll have the doors locked. And please be back by 12:45 and I will unlock the doors. Okay, enjoy.